Hi, welcome to Off the Tee. I'm your host, Jared Levy. Today we're at Dubuque Golf and Country Club. We'll be meeting with head golf professional Marshall Saxon, who's going to take us inside the lodge to work on our putting and our short approach shots. Let's check it out. Hi, we're at Dubuque Golf and Country Club. We're at the lodge, and joining us today is Marshall Saxon, head golf pro here at DGCC. Thanks for joining us.
Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Before we dive into golf lessons, tips, and tricks, tell us about your journey here to Dubuque Golf and how long you've been here. And
Been here at Dubuque Golf and Country Club for about 3 months now. Absolutely loving Iowa. Came from Chicago, and I've been in the golf business for probably, I've been saying 20 years for the past 5 or 6 years, so we'll go ahead and say 25 years now. Started off at Eastlake in Atlanta as a caddy, and kind of moved up. I've been able to work at some great clubs, Cherry Hills in Denver, True North in Scottsdale, Baton Rouge Country Club. But on the instruction side, I've worked with 8 top 100 golf instructors. And absolutely love, I was a baseball player through college and wish I would have known how to build speed as a baseball player. So a lot of the things that I did, not even knowing how, now I know how I did them. So it's, I did a little hotel sales for a couple years out of college, and let's just say I never wanted to wear a suit and tie again unless someone died or got married, and I don't even wear ties to those anymore. So it's been not a day of work in my life, and just be able to come to work and talk golf with people like you.
what was the draw? Because you were from Atlanta to New Orleans, Chicago. Why Dubuque?
Dubuque, when I came for my interview, I'm gonna be honest with you, I fell in love with the 2 other PGA professionals that are here, and working for a general manager whose PGA is, you know, after 20, 25 years in the business, you figure out what you want and what you don't want. And Lance has been great getting me here, getting me settled. The ability to work with a PGA professional that's been at one facility for 30 years, Dave Edwards, very much relish that. Like I said, if you want to do something, figure out someone that's done it well, and I'm learning a lot from Dave right now. But I went a hole the day I was here for my interview. Like I told you guys earlier, I saw a kid riding his bike to school, and that's something I haven't seen in 20 years. So raising a kid here, being a golf professional here, 3 months in, but I don't think there's a better place for me right now. So it's been perfect fit so far.
Nice, that's great. And what will we be going over today?
Whatever you need work on.
How much time do you have?
I'm a firm believer that you know, every student's got something a little different. Look forward to getting in there and seeing what you need to work on, and seeing if we can't make you better by the time you leave today.
I hope so.
Yes, sir.
Hey everyone, stick around. We'll be right back after these messages. All right, so we're starting off with a putting lesson.
Sure.
What should we do?
You kind of told me that it's not necessarily a good lag putter, but line is getting it started on your intended line is kind of a challenge right now.
Yeah, hitting the line is where I think I challenge.
Okay.
I struggle the most.
Hit me a few putts. I'm just going to watch you hit a few, see if I can't pick up on anything.
So just a little straight putt, the hardest putt in golf. A little
Good.
lip.
Another one.
favoring the right edge, so let's go a little bit more left, huh?
Good putt.
Made one.
I think had one that was left, one was right, and one that was right in the middle. So personally, I want you to just go ahead and set up for me. We're gonna make one quick adjustment to your setup. All right, so right now, if I drew a line from your eyes, we're looking at probably this spot here.
Yep.
I need for you, I feel like we're standing a little bit too far up. I don't care where you grip it on the, you can grip down here, still gonna wave the same, right? But I need you to get your eyes bent over a little bit more in your eyes.
Over the ball?
More over the ball, yep.
Okay.
Now, go ahead and hit you a couple there. Putt. Good.
Get there.
That will help the other thing that we're going to work on right now. That one's pretty easy, just knowing that I have to get a little bit more bent over, a little bit more athletic posture, kind of the same as a full swing, right? But the other thing that I see you doing, and standing a little bit more up, is going to make you what I call gate the putter, or open the putter and close the putter probably a little too much. Okay. The more I can get over it, the more I can kind of rock my shoulders back and through, and it should keep it on the line a little bit more, if that makes sense.
Yes.
But the other thing that I want you to kind of feel, the only thing that matters in putting is where your face is aimed at impact. Like we spoke about before, we can literally have any path whatsoever, in to out, out to in, perfectly straight back and straight through. As long as that putter face is pointing where you want it to go, it's probably going to go where you want it to go. So, as we get a little bit more over the ball and eyes over the ball, I want you to feel this putter not necessarily going straight or back, but this line looking at your target a little longer, and especially at impact. A little bit more over it. There we go. Keep the line at it. Good. Super good. All right, a little bit more over it.
Maybe I should choke down a little there.
Keep that line pointing at there. Much better, Jared. Much better.
2 for 2. Something's working.
Get that like that. All right. A little bit more over it. There we go. Keep that line looking at the hole. Yeah. I'll take 2 out of 3.
Should I, so I was kind of focusing on just that line in the ball.
Sure.
Should I try and just like let the shoulders do the work there?
Yes. If you can get here and allow your bigger muscles just to rock, it will allow you to keep this V without having to do,
hands and the
exactly.
arms.
Bigger muscles work a lot better in putting. Good putt.
All right. Well, it definitely feels different, which probably means I'm doing something right. Because we need to get rid of that old swing. With that, where I feel like I'm bending over more, would I change any putter grips or grip lower so it's, you know, feels more comfortable in my hands, or what are your thoughts on that?
My opinion on putting is so personal. You'll see guys literally have this much of a putting grip coming out from on top of their hands. You got Adam Scott that still uses kind of like a broomstick.
Yep. I
think as long as you can get to where you are comfortable, I think you're gonna putt better, feeling more comfortable. As long as you're getting your eyes over the ball and letting the line look at your target a little bit longer. I think we want to probably let your arms, just relax. Yep. Anytime we're doing that, we've got some type of tension going on. Just let them, That should help you bend over a little more as well.
Yep.
Yep.
And what about the club face on the ground in terms of?
That's a great question. Give me 1 second. Right now, this putter is in line with my right forearm.
Yep.
If I put now it's in line with both of my forearms. So if I was looking down the line, so to say, I shouldn't be able to see any putter grip. If you see a little bit that's too high hands, there it's a little too low. So I want all of this to be in the same plane, so it's all working, yeah.
Okay. That's a very good visual for me. Get there. I'm also gripping it so much lower than I was before.
You can let your hands come down a little bit more. Yeah, there you go. That line straight back and through. Good putt.
Count it. No. Here.
A little more over the ball. There we go.
Nice. Almost feels like I need a shorter putter now since I'm bending over.
Yes. I would say 95% of people use too long of a putter. A little more over the ball. There we go. Much better.
Yeah.
And that one broke.
Kind of hammered that one. Well, you definitely gave me some tips to work on there. Definitely eye over the ball. I think that's going to be the first one that I just go, self-check before I step over any putt. Any tips on reading a green? We're inside today, but when we're outside, anything that could make it easier?
As I said before, I'm from the South, and reading greens in the South is a lot easier than reading greens in the North. Generally, here, of course, I look at the entire hole as I'm either walking up to the green, driving up to the green. I generally like to kind of catch a lay of the land. Personally, I do that as I'm getting out of my car, walking up to the golf course, just where's the highest point of the property, blah, blah, blah. But generally, I like to look at, if I was, a putt from here to there, I look at the fringe past it, and you can generally see a hill, some type of hill. So if it's kind of leaning this way, I know it's going to break a little this way. But generally, it starts when I get out of the car. It starts when I hit my shot and I'm approaching the green. I'm looking at what the slope is. Of course, I think a lot of times, especially here at Dubuque, they're pretty easy to read as far as slope. We have a lot of slope in our greens. I think the ones that are a little harder, your flatter greens that have real gradual, and those are the ones where I really kind of, like I said, I look at the back collar, how's it tilted, and generally kind of go off that. It's safe to say that I've been fooled many a times, and I'm sure you've been fooled many a times,
yeah.
But I think that just finding a routine, and like I said, I generally kind of do that routine without even thinking about it anymore, but especially a lot of my juniors, I tell them, walk slowly all day. We don't want to be in a hurry. So it's just certain things that you can kind of train your body, and as you show up to the golf course, as you show up to a certain hole, by the time I get to 15, I already pretty much know what the lay of the land is for the entire golf course.
That's a good tip. And when we were talking off camera, you mentioned not to, give too many overcorrections on putting, not to think about too many things. So,
I think, like I said before, putting's very personal, and there's a lot of feel involved.
Yeah.
If someone has great feel, great touch, if you were hitting putts through your legs with great feel and great touch and you were making putts, you're making great putts.
Do it.
I'm a firm believer that being comfortable, whether or not it's full swing, but especially on the putting green, you just don't want to bog yourself down with too many. All we're trying to do is get the ball from there to there.
Right in the hole.
Yep.
So I think what I'll take away is standing over the ball, getting that line in line, or try to keep it on line as best as possible with the line that we're seeing, and find a grip that works for me.
Yep.
Make it personal. I like that. So, all right. And then what's next after we conclude with putting?
Well, I think we continue on the kind of short game. Let's hit some kind of approach shots, some kind of wedge shots, see if we can get a little better there.
All right, let's do it. Hey everyone, stick around. We'll be right back after these messages. Okay, so we're on the simulator range, and you said we're gonna go over some short game, wedge game. Tell us what we're working on.
Hit a 45-yard shot. I'm going to have you hit a few shots and see what you do, and see if we can't get you maybe a little bit more efficient in these shots. So I'm going to first ask you, what are your thoughts on a 45-yard shot? What are you thinking when you get into it?
I think it has a lot of feel. It's that
Sure.
touch shot. It's not a full swing on any of my clubs, so I always feel like I go between my 54 and my 58. Sometimes I do the 54 because I don't want to have a bad miss hit with the open face
Sure.
58. So I think I look at the lie. Am I in the rough? Is it a tight lie? So that's where my head goes.
Good.
But just hitting
first thing you got to do is assess your lie.
Okay.
And of course, in here we've got
Nice lies.
We've got very nice lies,
Yeah.
but I do like the variety of what is this shot? What do I need to do to execute this shot? It may be a 54, maybe a 58, it may be a 54 short, and a very quick kind of, just depends on what the lie gives you. Once you hit a few, we'll just say stock 45-yard shot, say that we've got a pretty good lie, don't have to worry about too much there.
Okay. So I have my 58 in hand, and I kind of think of this as a, not even a full 3/4, maybe 50% swing. I felt maybe a little bit more than 50%, but ooh,
Hit the number.
not bad.
If you did that 100 times in a row, I'm not saying another word.
That one's a little shorter, but the run out went there.
Sure.
My first thought is if it's a nice lie and that's a green, that it's probably checking up.
Sure.
But this might be my yardage.
Which is if this is your yardage, I know we didn't talk about this, but I'm a firm believer of having your shot.
Yeah.
Right? You figure out what your shot is, you go out on the range, it may be this 45-yard shot, and then you alter 55, 35 to what your natural movement is. You look very comfortable hitting this shot. So why don't we just say, let's hit it 15 yards further and see where we're at there. So let's say we're going to try to hit a 60-yard shot here.
A little bit more. Fall deeper. 60 on the nose. I think for me, I'm not going to say that one felt like a little bit more luck. I just knew I was trying to hit harder, but not a full swing.
Let me ask you this.
I don't know where that's going to always land me.
It's kind of where I was going to go. If you need to hit it harder, how do you do it?
If it's not a full swing anyway, I try to rotate more, I think, instead of bring my hands up. Well, how do I? It's all feel. I don't even know. I'm trying to still just pull it back further and finish further without finishing all the way, as if I
think you're telling me, you said it earlier, you're turning better. I see
Okay.
a lot
rotation.
of amateurs try to do everything with their arms. Okay, so if I'm looking at camera, I can literally get my club to the very top of my backswing, and my chest hasn't turned a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have this big variable that we're trying to change.
Yeah.
When in all actuality, the only thing that I really need to change is this. I can very consistently move my trunk like this continually, right?
Yeah.
And then you come down 16, 17, 18 with a $5 Nassau, or maybe a little bit more expensive Nassau, your hands start to get, this is where the nerves come. right? So I'm a firm believer of locking your body into place and using body to
get there.
to vary distance, rather than I'm trying to do it with my hands or my arms.
And I think that is something I used to do, try and do more of that, which I didn't know what was going to happen.
That was very armsy. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Good shot.
that was going for the 60, so put me 10 yards short.
See, I brought this soccer ball, and I am a firm believer, especially in short game, if I had a straight line, if you can imagine a straight line on here, that straight line matches my spine. It also matches my club face. And if I did this all arms, that's not matching my spine any longer. But if I move this back here, now my chest is turned with the line as well, plus my club face, and I can judge speed a lot easier that way than I can flipping it with just my arms and hands. If that makes any sense.
That definitely, that soccer ball is a good image. So especially if you get elbowy and weird.
Yeah.
It's almost like I think the soccer ball, as if I were squeezing a soccer ball.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Kind of go through there.
There you go. Much better.
Yeah, that felt
Crisp.
I like that.
A lot crisper. Yeah.
And again, this nice lie, I think.
That helps.
I feel like when you're 45 out, you're in all sorts of weird spots.
Well, then let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about thick lie or a thin lie. What are we doing? You get to a 45-yard shot that's hard pan. What are you going to do?
That is a good question. Gosh, I hate hitting off that stuff with the touch because I feel like it doesn't glide under. I mean, should I be putting that further back in the stance on some of those?
I like the thought process there. If I can get, the most important thing there is not hitting the ground behind it, right?
Yeah.
Because then we're going to blade into it, or say it's dirt and it just hits and it flies 15, 20 yards or whatever. So I do appreciate putting a little bit more in the back of your stance.
Okay.
That's going to make sure that we hit ball first. We're going to be a little bit more descending on the ball rather than so I can kind of get down at it a little bit more. I'm a firm believer that your lie dictates whatever shot you have. If you're in a hole, you're in an old divot, there's no possible way we're going to get that thing to go up in the air. So let's put it in the back of our stance. Like I said, we almost have to feel like we're hitting down on it, right? Yeah. I don't take a practice swing except for when I'm hitting chips and pitches. And the only reason why I do that is I kind of practice the swing. What is the ground giving me? Sometimes we're into the grain chipping, right? Yep. And that club just sticks. Yeah. Well, if I'm 3 or 4 feet off the green, I may go grab a putter because I don't want. The other thing is, if it's a 10-yard shot, last thing I wanted to be able to do is have to put it in the back of my stance and do that to make sure I hit ball rather than ground, if that makes sense. So I'm a firm believer that, unfortunately, we're inside today, but go and drop 100 balls around the practice green. Don't move them around. Yeah. Whatever lie that is, figure out what's the best way. I might have to dig this one a little bit. I might have to feel like I try to pick this one a little bit. And the lie, lie could be sitting on top of some grass. Last thing we want to do is go down and get that one. We want to be a little more shallow on that one. So, like I said, each shot, the lie dictates the shot that we hit. But, like I said, on the stock one, I think if we can use our body a little bit more than arms, I think we're right where we need to be.
Is there ever a good time to try and hit a flop shot versus just trying to still let the swing do all the work? Or is that just unnecessary for some people?
You see it a lot on TV. I kind of smirked when you asked that question. Yes, there's a time and place for everything. Is it once or twice around? Maybe. If I can get something on the ground, your normal pitch shot, your normal chip shot, rather than having to hit that, if that's like I said, law dictates everything. If I'm short-sighted, I've got a lot of green behind me to work with. You know what? Sometimes maybe having a 12-footer back up the hill is better than having to hit another chip down that hill again by getting underneath it and leaving it short. So I'm a firm believer of get it on the green, give yourself a chance to make the putt for par or bogey or whatever that may be. There are times where you're going to have to hit a less percentage-wise shot in order to, like I said, 15, 16, 17, 18, that $5 Nassau that you're playing, you might get down to 18 and you have to hit that shot. So I'm a firm believer that you need that shot when you have to have it. But I would say that Phil Mickelson probably screwed up a lot of golfers for a long time in hitting the flop shot. Now, I tell a lot of my students, you're not Phil Mickelson.
Well, I think we'll end it there because I'm far from Phil Mickelson, but I think I like the soccer ball that you put there, just kind of as a reminder to keep those arms together and let the rotation do everything. So thanks for having us out today, going over putting, going over the short game chipping, and hopefully our viewers took some of that away.
Sounds
some
good.
Good tips.
Thanks, Jared.
Yep. Thanks for tuning in, and special thanks to everyone here at the Dubuque Golf and Country Club, especially Marshall Saxon, head golf pro. Catch you next time, off the tee.